Hey, everybody. I hope you're doing extremely well. So, a bit of an update. After 10 years of working for the same company, I've been laid off, along with over 50 developers and tech designers, people in product, quality assurance, that kind of a thing. And thank you for your concern. If you're sending good vibes, I appreciate it. I have gotten a new gig, although it is quite different. It's a contract instead of W 2. That has its advantages and its disadvantages, but it is for a bit less than what I was accustomed to making. So, this is part of one of the big transitions in just the hiring space. I want to say it's exclusive to the tech space, but I have a friend who's looking for work in sales. He does kind of high end B2B sales, and he's experiencing much of the same thing. So I don't mean to come across like Devin knows everything. Like I think I have some wisdom under my belt that I think could be helpful to a lot of you guys. But actually, the topic of this video is I'd like for you to please share what you think is going on with the state of the job market. Could be focused on the tech industry, developer, coder, designer, UI, UX, that kind of a thing. It's very noticeable, but it seems to be kind of a universal experience for all jobs. Is everything kind of sucks right now, and it's a little hard to ascertain why. Um, Going through this 10-year period, things have changed quite a bit as they're expected to. And one thing I've really noticed is the proliferation of ATS, which are automated resume readers, and AI to scrub out resumes. So it used to be like, so I'm a digital designer. It used to be like you put a lot of creativity into the design itself, so it looks like it's got some wow factor. It looks like a designer made this resume. It doesn't just look like a Word doc. But now they should be very plain because you want the readers, the bots, to be able to scrub the resume, and they're scrubbing candidates out based on keyword matching. So I have a tool. There's no affiliate anything here. Nothing. It's just something I use. That it's called Simplify Copilot, and it's a app. It's a web app that you use to basically keyword stuff your resume, reword your resume. It'll rate your resume based on the job posting, give you a percentage of the health of the resume. Like if you have 3 of the 30 keywords, then it's this percentage, and it can get you to 90 plus percentage by rewording the resume. Then you have to kind of reword it a little bit because AI can make them sound a bit uniform, a little bit robotic. But this is what you have to do. This is the weird world that I found that we're in, is that, okay, so I'm using my AI tool to combat their AI tool just to get a human to look at the resume potentially. And I don't even know if a human has ever really looked at one. So the other downside is, prior to AI and resume readers invading the space, your odds of getting an interview are much higher. And even if you didn't get the job, you would know why. You'd have an idea why, because you'd get that feedback, which I remember 10 years ago when I was looking for a job, ultimately got the job that I recently had. You would know what they were passing on, what they didn't like, and then I would know how to retool my portfolio or do some volunteer work or freelance work in order to create what it was that was hot in the market, and got a job very shortly thereafter. But now you don't get that. You don't know why. So I would think I would be a top applicant with my experience. Been promoted 2 or 3 times in the last job, been at the higher echelon. Multiple products brought to market and all that. But we regret to inform you that we're not moving on. You have no information, shooting blind. So you might think like, well, maybe it's the AI used in the resume, but you have to, because if you don't do that, like LinkedIn Premium has a similar service, Reword Resume, right? And that's what that's for. If you don't do that, then it's never going to see a human eyes. So very weird. The weirdest experience that I had was a phone call I got from an Amazon robot. So this was a voice call with like a Siri sounding, when you call a company and it's like, please say what you're calling for. You can say customer service, help for an order. It was very much like that. It was a female sounding robot. This is an automated call from this Amazon job I applied to. Is this a good time to talk? You say yes. Fantastic. Please tell us, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm answering the stupid AI robot's questions. And then I shit you not, I thought I had applied to a remote job because that's what I need, right? And it turns out that the job, maybe I misread it or there was a mistake somewhere, but it turns out the job was not remote. It was in Seattle. So the robot says, this is an on-site job in Seattle. Are you okay with that? I said, no, I thought it was remote. And then immediately, I'm not making this up, immediately the bot's attitude changed to a bitch. It was like, oh, well, this is on-site only. We're sorry you misunderstood. And it's like this stupid robot is like copping an attitude and being a bitch. Really unbelievable in a way. But what do I think is going on here? Well, in tech, I think there's a lot of uncertainty around AI. And this has been demonstrated, at least in the last year, that there was a lot of over-enthusiastic malinvestment in AI by companies. They thought they'd be able to cut their developers down to a fraction of what it was. A lot of companies jumped the gun and then had to rehire because it's really kind of tricky to figure out. Like, yes, the AI has some easily monetizable spaces, but in the coding world, it's just like any other piece of technology. It can make people more efficient. You might be able to hire fewer coders, but it's not entirely proven to fully replace everybody yet. So that may create some hesitancy in hiring. That's one thing. And with that hesitancy is possibly fewer jobs and more competition for those jobs. And then, as I said, you have the AI doing funny stuff with scrubbing resumes for weird reasons, not being able to explain your value, but being robo-scrubbed is another issue. And then let's not forget kind of this neo-boomer trend to return to the office, which I adamantly oppose. And as much as I like Trump, I like Elon Musk, but they're kind of in that neo-boomer camp where, return to work or get fired, which makes no sense. Like with work from home for white-collar workers, at least for now, for white-collar workers, it's been forcing people to be tortured with commutes and go to offices so they can have middle managers look over their shoulders has been obsolete for almost 30 years now, at least 25 with the advent of high-speed internet. And it's just refused to die because I think return to the office is a panic move by the middle management hierarchy class to protect themselves. When you work remotely for long enough, which the majority of my time for that 10-year job was, you begin to realize just how useful this hierarchy of this choir of middle managers really is, because you're working in a true matrix working style. Matrix means it's a very douchey, overly complex MBA business school term for you. The individual communicates directly with the people that he needs to collaborate with. That's all that means. Because in the old days, you had to get the other person's boss's permission, and everything had to be filtered through their boss or their boss's boss, and blah, 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 blah. It was a very inefficient mode of communication. So all Matrix meant was, well, you have these two hierarchies, but people are free to communicate up and across however they need to get the job done. So I think the neo-boomer backlash is simply that the middle managers need to protect themselves and their silly little office space hierarchy of approving and lording over people, and they're not necessarily productive individuals. Like, yeah, sure, you might need managers to an extent, but the sub manager and the middle manager to the next whatever layer above to the VP, junior VP to the senior VP, blah, 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 blah. So you could cut, 50, 60% of that and be fine. And they'd rather cut the productive people and maintain their office space micromanagement in-person style. So it just pisses me off. Like when it comes to the level of productivity, from your energy levels, from sitting in traffic to living where you want to live. I lived in from Los Angeles. I lived there. You make six figures, and your life is a tiny 1-bedroom apartment. You can't live a life. You can't get ahead. You can't have a house. The American dream is dead in these cities. And this is one of the problems. Is I believe this strongly that the locals are going to protest, but this is very much kind of the People's Republic book. The people are leaving these failed liberal states, and you live your best life in a conservative state where the American dream is not dead. You can get a mortgage, get a house, and you can work remotely. But now there's a lot of competition for those remote jobs, right? So I'll apply to a job, 400 applicants easily. So I was able to get a new gig, as I said, but it was for a former employer of mine, former boss. It was old school. It was who you know. And she wanted me for this new position. So it had nothing to do with spamming LinkedIn and all this other crap, But on the other side of it, how many jobs have I applied to? At least 400. I've had some interest from recruiters, but no interview, except for the Amazon robot, the bitchy Amazon robot. Weird. So, one thing, I am a libertarian, but overall I like the direction I like Donald Trump and Elon Musk. I like uncovering the government waste. Overall I approve, but there's some weird thinking of in Trump's style. Like he's for H-1B visas, which are working visas for people who want to come take tech jobs from other countries. And Trump is willing to do protective acts to protect American labor, right? But he doesn't think tech is work. He thinks it's different. He thinks it's innovation, it's technology, it's different. And I want to say to Trump, no, it's just work. It's a different kind of work. Like you have a blue collar worker who's building a building, and a white collar worker is building a web app or an application for your phone. It's building, it's work. And Trump being a boomer, the boomer, neo-boomer mentality doesn't see it as work. It sees it as something different. He's got people whispering in his ear, boomer cons whispering in his ear, watching, more H-1B visas. So it drives the cost of labor down. Either we have a free market across the board, or you're going to be a protectionist, but you can't have it both ways. Don't mix and match. That's all I'm asking, right? Be consistent. But what do you think about AI in the hiring market, LinkedIn hell, being taken advantage of? You've got probably about 20-30% of the job postings you see are for jobs that don't exist. They're just scraping for data, seeing if their current job employee pool has out-of-date skills, or just testing the market. How many jobs did you have to apply to? How long have you gone? The last boss I had, they let her go so they could reorg. She was amazingly talented too, which is a wonderful boss. Great person. No one more knowledgeable than her, and her, boss got rid of her to reorg so that he could have more yes men, all this corporate crap, right? So entrepreneurship, is it a solution? Well, I mean, it's hard work starting a business, and I realize for me, it has to be something that I really care about. And for me, it's this. It's promoting myself as like a self-help author. I have a couple books on Amazon that are self-published. I have this YouTube channel. Has it replaced my income yet? No. I mean, I make a couple dollars every few months off I have 2 books I've written. I wrote Hardcore Happiness and I wrote Emotional Healing for Men. I'm proud of those. It doesn't pay yet, but this is what I want to do. So I'm going to keep going. But for now, I've got to keep working, at least in part. And it's like you need to really care about the business. Like Tom Billinew, am I pronouncing his name right? So he does the Impact Theory podcast, great podcast. But he sold Quest Nutrition for $1 billion, and he said he needed to make that company to fill his soul. Well, that's awesome. Like owning a nutrition company, a protein bar company, wouldn't fill my soul like this does. Being a philosopher does. So this is my side business, right? So until then, like getting immediate income, realizing immediate income, working is the most efficient way to do that. But man, anyway, what I was saying about my former boss was she's been going on a year, not one interview in a year. It doesn't make any sense. Let me know what you think is going on. What has your experience been? Could be tech industry, could be something else. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. And as always, wishing you well. Hope you have a great day.